What's good, Commanders fans? Nothing too good at the moment. The Commanders have announced that they have released kicker Brandon McManus, who was signed after being a free agent after being with the Jaguars. So, if you haven't heard much about this story or situation, he was accused of sexual assault by Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2. So, two ladies on a plane, snakes on a plane, whatever. Don't want to joke around too much about the situation. But I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it in. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I apologize to the ladies that are accusing Brandon McManus of the situation. And it's not a funny situation at all. I really deeply apologize. I'm sorry. I deeply apologize. I really do. But, so yeah, I'll get the joke. Snakes on a plane. Some people in the group chat, like Warpath and OG, were talking Brandon Diddy McManus, B Diddy, stuff like that. So I'm going to just get that out the way. But let's get serious here, guys. Brandon McManus, they were on a team flight. So they're suing Brandon McManus, the two ladies. They were flight attendants on a flight from Jacksonville or wherever they flew off from to get to London. They had two games in London, apparently. I'm reading the article on the Athletic that Ben Standig wrote. And he said they had two games in London. Like back-to-back games. Yeah, Jacksonville played back-to-back London games in 2023. There was alcohol on the plane. Every plane has alcohol, basically. So they're probably lit, man. It's a long flight. Alcohol, money involved, stuff like that. So they were probably lit on the flight. Brandon McManus is a married man. He does have a wife as well, so it's not a good situation for him as well. But like I said, he could be innocent. You just never know. Reuben Foster, we had the situation where there was a domestic incident. We signed him a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, he had a terrible knee injury or the lower leg injury, and he was found innocent after a domestic incident or where he was accused. And the young lady, they found that Reuben Foster was not guilty of all charges. He didn't spend any time in jail or anything like that. So the Commanders, the Skins at the time took a chance on him. It was a terrible PR hit. Doug Williams went to the podium and he got, scrutinized for what he said about the whole situation. We took a chance on him. He ended up being innocent. So there's a lot of situations where guys, we've seen players accused, basketball players, football players, baseball, it doesn't matter what sport, and they've been found innocent. But, with the Commanders and the history with, I know it's a whole regime and ownership, but things like this, I get why Adam Peters, whoever made the decision, whether it was Adam or Josh Harris or a joint decision, they're like, hey, we're just going to let this guy go. We're not going to take any chances. We're not going to let the legalities play out. We're just going to let him go. We're just going to release him. We're not going to tolerate any allegations or anything like that. So I understand. I respect their decision. I'm not going to say Adam Peters is wrong or anything like that. I get it. Did they know this situation was going to happen when they signed him? Did they know these allegations were already in hand, that this accusations and lawsuit was coming, that it was in the works when they signed him back in March or April? If they knew that was going to happen, then maybe Adam Peters should have second thought about signing McManus in the first place. So those are some of the question marks that I have. But like I said, I have no problem with them releasing. The big thing is, other than the life part with Brandon McManus and just us being involved, the Commanders being involved in the situation, is who's going to be our kicker? Is it going to be a UFL, XFL guy? Is it going to be destroying the YouTuber? Like, who's going to be our kicker? We don't have a guy right now. We don't have a clear cut option a reliable option that we've seen make kicks in the league before. So now we're gonna have to take a chance on a XFL guy and just take a chance. McManus's agent, is Drew Rosenhaus, the famous agent as well. I think he made a statement. His lawyer made a statement, of course. But I'm gonna read a little bit of the article from the Athletic real quick, and then I'll wrap it up. I don't want to spend too much time on this, honestly. Dan Quinn's going to speak about this most likely on Wednesday. They will be asking him questions about this. OTAs are on Wednesday. So, and I think it's open to the media on Wednesday. So they're going to be asking him questions about this. So he probably is going to be making it simple. He's probably not going to say too much, which he should not. He should not open up to the media about the situation. He should just say, hey, the ownership made a decision, or Adam Peters made a decision to move on, and I respect the decision. That's all that Dan Quinn's really going to say, because they're going to ask him a bunch of questions about it, and then he's just going to move on. All right, so Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 in the lawsuit, they filed a petition Friday in Duval County Circuit Civil Court accusing McManus of grinding against them while serving the team on an international flight to London. This reminds me of the previous. It really does. People hate when I bring up previous stuff. Larry Michael, the guy who did the show, what was it called, Skins Today or something like that, where he would always say we're going 11-5, 12-4 every season. He said he was Dan Snyder's right-hand man. He always made the ladies feel uncomfortable, the lady employees for the Skins a couple years ago. So it just reminds me of the guys like him, the whole cheerleading situation and whatnot. The article goes on to say they also allege the Jaguars failed to supervise McManus and create a safe environment for staff on the flight per the lawsuit. We're aware of the complaint and we acknowledge the significance of the claims. The Jaguars said in a statement Monday, as we continue to look into the matter, it bears emphasizing that we insist on an organization built by people who represent our community and game with the highest character in class. The women are seeking damages of more than $1 million and have demanded a jury trial. Also, quote, to be clear, these are absolutely fictitious and demonstrably false allegations made as part of a campaign to defame and disparage a talented and well-respected NFL player. This is what Brett R. Galloway of McLaughlin and Stern litigation said on behalf of McManus. Quote, we intend to aggressively defend Brandon's rights and integrity and clear his name by showing what these claims truly are, an extortion attempt. So, and it could be that. Like I said, you just got to let stuff play out in court. You just don't know. We really don't know for sure. So I'm not going to say what I believe and what I don't. I wasn't there on the plane. So we'll see. Tony Busby, the lawyer who represented several accusers in the sexual assault and misconduct civil suits against Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, said his firm was representing the two women in the McManus case as well. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, Deshaun Watson, he got off, basically. You know, he was able to play, or I don't want to say get off, but he was able to move on and still play in the NFL after all the accusations that he went through. So that's just an example right there. They did sign McManus. The Commanders signed McManus to a $3.6 million deal in March. And also the Commanders said in a statement, we take allegations of this nature very seriously and are looking into the matter. The spokesperson said in a statement to The Athletic. So they didn't cut him immediately. Like, they cut him a couple of days. Like, this article came out May 27th. Today's June 2nd. So about 5 days went by and then they made a decision. They just didn't cut him immediately. I've seen situations where they just cut guys immediately. It just depends on who you are. You know, what happened with Darius Geis, the whole domestic incident that came out, that came to the light. Actually, I think Ron cut Darius Geis before it got to the media. So, like I said, every situation is different with the guy and whatever. So, things are just different. So, you know, just let it play out. They released it. They moved on. Who are they going to pick up? I mean, there's like an article saying 6 kickers they could pick up. Lucas Havrisik from the Browns. I'm not going to act like I know who this guy is. Cade York. He was the third kicker in Cleveland this past season. Andre Schmitz went to Syracuse. There's a guy to take a look at. Will Reichard or John Parker Romo. Those are some of the guys that are available at this point that are known. And like I said, UFL, XFL. You can't sign any of the UFL guys until June 16th. So we'll see what happens. But I hope you guys are having a good Sunday and a good weekend. As always, you guys let me know what you guys think about the situation. Should they have tried to let this play out until they heard a verdict? Or did they make the right decision letting him go? Did they drop the ball and kind of doing their due diligence before this stuff came out? You know, because they probably knew about it because everybody knew. I mean, the plane thing happened last year, so I feel like they kind of had some insight on the situation. But like I said, you know, we'll see what happens. And we gotta find a kicker. Super important, man. Extra points that Joey Sly has missed. Dustin Hopkins has missed some big extra points and some big kicks that have set us back in games where we're down by 8. And now we got to kick a 2. Now we got to go for 2, like the Giants game on Sunday Night Football where they freaking bear hugged Curtis Samuel where Joey Sly missed the extra point. Now we're down by 8, and we got to score a 2-point conversion to get back in the game, you know, and tie the game and go to overtime. So it's situations like that always come up. Or even when Ron was silly and went, not when Ron went for 2. There's other situations where, or remember when Joey Sly got hurt in that Seahawks game, we needed a kicker. You know, you just never know, man. Like kicker is very important. It's a very important part of the game for sure. But I was trying to remember when Ron went for 2 unnecessarily against the Giants. I don't think Dustin Hopkins or Joey Sly missed a kick in that game, but There's just a lot of situations where we're going to need a kicker. We saw how important, you never notice how important things are until they get bad. Like the long snapper who got released. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he was awful. And we traded up for him, and he got cut. So special teams are super, super important. I don't like drafting a kicker or a long snapper or anything, or a punter. I would never, ever draft a punter. I would never draft a kicker. Other teams do, and they do work out, but I just personally, I would never draft a kicker or a punter. But at this point, we need one bad. We need one bad. We need to sign one really bad. So we'll see what happens, guys. You guys let me know what you guys think. Helton Commanders, as always. Peace.